If you're tired of being rejected from SubmitHub, then you've come to the right place today, because I am both an artist and a curator on SubmitHub. And today, I'd just like to give you a few tips that I think could really improve your chance of acceptance. At the end, I'd also like to show you probably the most important thing, so stick around for that and we'll get into it. Hey, I'm Nick from 11 out of 10, and today we're going to talk about a few things that I think will really increase your chances of being accepted on SubmitHub. So let's dive into it. So before I actually give you a few steps on things you can do, let me just show you my progress as an artist. So I'm going to start with my band, Year of Dogs. And we started this platform about almost 4 years ago, more than 4 years ago. Jan 2021, we released our first song, Sweet Red. Absolute banger, check it out. And we sent out 3 campaigns, we got 6 responses, only 1 approved, 17% approval rate. I do believe the platform average is 31%. Our next one, also 1 approved, 20%. Then the next song we sent out to 22 curators, only 2 approved, 9% for the next one, Moon Love, 1 approved, 1 approved. If this is looking a bit like your artist tab, don't be sad or don't feel bad. This is often how it starts. 19% above water, 18 responses, 0 approved. Doesn't even put 0%. It feels so bad for us. Yeah, next one, loads of submissions, but only 14%. And then Little Lifetime, it improves a bit, gets up to 36%, 2023. Just Life, 50%, starting to get pretty good. My Love Is on the Run, 60% approval. Also really good. So you can see in the last 2 years, really improved. If we go then to my own project, I can show you my own songs. So my first song, only 14% approval. Then my other tracks, pretty good approval rate, to be honest. 83%, 40%, 40%, 67%, 67% for my most recent release, which was Feb. This is more than double the platform average. So yeah, I really think that there are a few easy things that you can do to drastically improve your acceptance rate that are really not too hard. Things that me, now working as a curator, I actually look out for, or it makes tracks stand out a little bit more. So yeah, I hope I can share just a few valuable things with you today. And let's imagine, for the purpose of this video, we're going to kind of imagine that we're going through a campaign. And I'll just pretend I'm resubmitting my song that I did with Linda. You should check it out too, also banger. So we'll go through this together. Once you've uploaded your song onto SubmitHub, you'll have your songs here. You can create a new campaign, but we're just going to dive as if we have a campaign. So the first thing you will see here, do you want to submit to curators or influencers? I generally only submit to curators. And as I said, yeah, here, average share rate is 30%. You can do premium or standard submissions. Premium, you obviously have to pay by credit so that curators will listen to them. Standard is completely free, but there's a chance that the curator might not even listen. Personally, I haven't listened to many standard submissions, but I would like to increase that. But there's just a way lower chance of people actually listening to your standard submissions. So at the top, you'll be able to choose a couple of similar artists. Here I have myself, Linda, Alice Bilou, Loving, Feng Suave, Dope Lemon. I felt like the song went into this world. Then you can have a few genres that you think that the song kind of falls into. So I thought it was folk rocky, indie rock, indie poppy, maybe even indie folk, but the AI reader is pretty good and it said these are probably the top 3. So I just kind of match with that. It seems to be working pretty well for me. Then you can choose the mood. My music is generally pretty chill, so I only really have chill, but obviously choose the right mood for your music. You should know what that is. And then hit next. You can choose the kind of feedback that you want. Specific and honest. I generally go for that. I got thick skin now after all those rejections of curators telling me how bad I am. So now if someone tells me that I suck, it leaves my mind immediately. But people are never usually that rude. And then permissions, copyright, you choose what works for you over here. That's cool. Now you get into the section where you actually can look at all the curators. So I think it's important to just explain some of these metrics that they give you here, because this can really improve your chances of actually being accepted. So we have Dizzy Boy, costs 1 credit to submit to, and you can see, first of all, curators put a description of what they're looking for read that description, okay? Lo-fi, pop, and hip-hop. I don't make lo-fi, pop, and hip-hop, so I'm definitely not going to submit. Even though it says genre match, I'm probably not going to submit there, okay? This is in Spanish. I can translate it. Electronic rhythms. We do not want slow rhythms, okay? It's probably not the right fit for me. Looking for new music gives us chills. Please send ahead of release date. They seem like they do have Spotify. Okay, I can't submit to myself. 11 out of 10. But I feel like I'm a good example, so I can go through myself. I'm saying please send chilled songs, dream pop, mellow indie, pop rock, alternative folk. Plus, I'm constantly running ads to the playlist, so lots of new listeners for you. So genre match is a 10, okay? I obviously put my music in my own playlist, so I hope that it's genre match 10. This is important. You want the genre to match. Quality is how good the feedback is, how quickly I share your song to Spotify, how long I listen to the song. And then engagement is, you can see like how many listens or listeners, how many streams does your playlist give you. So you can see I'm getting about 200 to 300 listeners per song in my main playlist and about 50 to 80 in my smaller playlist, which I'm currently growing. So these are all important things. You want as high possible in each of these departments. Of course, I'm charging 4 credits to listen, but my metrics are pretty good and I feel like it's worth it. You might get a cheaper curator that has slightly less quality and engagement. However, this may not translate into high amount of streams or high amount of listeners. So make sure you look at these things. And sometimes people have many playlists, so look through their various playlists and then decide what works for you. Also, if you see this little green badge that says SubmitHub links, this is great. This means that the curator is actually promoting the playlist. Okay, they're running meta ads to the playlist and they're using SubmitHub links to do this. This is great because it's bringing in new listeners to the playlist, which means new listeners to your music. So more discovery for you. So it's just a bonus if you see the curator is actually running this. So look out for these things. It even tells you which genres they're focusing on. So I think this is a good overview of what to look for from various curators. Okay. And make sure you see how many listeners they have in each playlist. That way you can make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. Of course, though, some curators I've seen on here with 8,000 monthly listeners, like Alex Rainbird, I think one of the biggest indie folk curators, same as Indie Folk Central, thousands of monthly listeners. But at the same time, that means it's extremely competitive because loads of other artists are submitting to these people. Yeah, while it looks like they may have a lot of listeners, it's probably harder to get on those playlists, but really good when you do get on. And you can see their approval rate. So here, Andrew X, I would probably submit to him. Folk, indie, rock, metal. So let's pretend I wanted to submit to Andrew X. The next step, once I've assessed the quality, the overall metrics of the curator, would then be to decide on which playlist of Andrew's actually looks good for me. So I thought the song was quite indie pop, rock, and then folk probably the lowest. So I can view all of his playlists, just clicking view all, obviously. So indie folk road trips, essential rock, okay, which is indie rock pop, metalcore, summer indie pop. All right, so he has summer indie pop. I don't know if this is the most summery song, and look, it also has less than 5 listeners per song, so I'm not sure. So I did think the song was a bit indie folky, and it's got 200 to 300 listeners per song. It's pretty good, even some indie pop in there, so maybe I'm a good fit, but I don't want to just waste my 4 credits without checking. So you can click on here and it'll open up the playlist. So you can actually see the playlist. So Andrew X playlist pretty big, more than 11,000 saves on it. And now I can check out a few of the tracks in the playlist. So I can look at the top. Okay, I know these songs. Here's Bon Iver, Skinny Love, Noah Kahan, Forever. These are maybe a bit more folk pop than what I usually go for, but I would give these songs that have just been added a listen just to see what the curator, what Andrew X is feeling at the moment. So let me give it a listen. But this is maybe a bit more traditional folk for me, so I would maybe not go for this playlist. Also, I see the artists in here, Mumford & Sons. I don't know if my music really fits that. It's a bit more indie, so I might pass on this curator. But that is the second most important thing, to actually go into the playlist and take a listen to 2-3 different artists, look at who's in there, especially the recent ads, and see if your music sounds like that. If it doesn't sound anywhere near, just go to the next curator. There's loads of curators on here, and that's definitely going to save you quite a bit of money. But let's say, for example, I did like Andrew's summer indie pop playlist. I found a few songs on there that matched mine. Then I'm going to select him and be like, hey, cool, I think this is perfect. So let's say I open it up. A few of these, maybe, yeah, this is a bit more in my vibe for sure. But I probably wouldn't submit because there's only five listeners. Dayglow, Tame Impala, Foster the People. If it had more listeners, I would definitely submit. So I've selected him. And what I really look out for when I'm curating is a little personalized message. You can tell if someone's actually taken the time. And this literally 30 seconds more effort honestly goes a long way for me as a curator, and I believe other curators too. So add a little personalized message. You can see some things that I've said in the past, like, hey, Alex Rainbird music, we think, may I please rest my head upon your shoulder, would rest its head nicely in your indie rock alt playlist and maybe even the indie pop folk one. Thanks for considering it. This was actually approved by Alex Rainbird. I took the time to listen through the playlists. I specifically named the curator, Alex Rainbird. I said the name of the playlist and said thanks for considering it. Okay, I even tried to flex the artist in me. I think this song would rest its head nicely in your playlist. Just trying to stand out a little bit in the smallest way. And when people have sent me songs and stood out in this way, saying things like that, or maybe even a funny pitch, it goes a lot further than just saying, this is my new song. Okay, everyone is sending me their new song, you know? So I might say, hey, Andrew X, because I released with my friend Linda, we think the song would rest its head nicely in your dinner time. Okay, but obviously Andrew doesn't have dinner time softy. Andrew has summer indie pop, which I thought could work. So we think would rest nicely in your summer indie pop playlist. T also has amazing playlists. Check her stuff out. Thanks for considering it. That simple. Hit save. Then SubmitHub knows that it's gonna submit once I'm finished. Of course, I only have 5 credits, so I can't submit to anyone else right now. I can transfer from my Curator account to this, but not releasing any music immediately. But in the coming months, have some more tracks. Then I could go submit. I don't actually want to submit to Andrew. Sorry, Andrew, if you watch this. But then I'll hit submit, very straightforward. And he would have 72 hours to yay or nay it and give me some specific feedback as to why he didn't like it. Now, those are just some basic standard steps that I think could really help you get better results here on SubmitHub. And I did allude at the beginning of the video to one really important thing that I think would get you better results than anything that I've mentioned here. And it seems obvious, but I still encounter it every day when I'm listening to music. The most important thing, I believe, to actually getting accepted is to just make great music. And how I think about it, I think I saw an interview with Pharrell or Tyler the Creator, but I did some research and I guess the initial quote was attributed to Dr. Dre, who both of them have subsequently quoted or referenced. But it's just to make undeniable music. Make your music so good that it's undeniable by anyone listening to it. It's just that good. If you can truly say and believe and be honest and frank with yourself that your music is undeniably good, then you have a much better chance. When I look back at some of our early Year of Dog songs, yeah, some of these were definitely bangers, but we were learning to make music as we were releasing. They were not undeniable. There were definitely elements that could have been improved, and there were even songs that we agreed as a band that we maybe didn't love that much, but we still put them out. That's not undeniable. I can't say that even my own music is fully undeniable. I guess that's just the curse of the artist always thinking like, this could be better. But I feel like the tracks are definitely getting closer, and I really believe in them more. While I'm working my way up to saying that everything is undeniable and I want my music to be undeniable, a helpful thing that I've done, which I think you could do too, is create a playlist of songs that your song would probably be good with. Listen to this playlist, listen to 2 or 3 songs, and then play your song, and then play 2 or 3 more songs. How does your song feel around those tracks? Does it stick out? Like, is it awful quality compared to them? Or the melody is not there? Is the vibe just not there compared to the other tracks? And make a call. Try be honest with yourself, and you can hear it. I feel like you know inside of you. If you can't, you need to meditate. And I found that's really helpful. I generally like to go for a walk in the park when I do this, walk outside, just get out of the studio space, put in my headphones. Then I listen to the other songs, listen to my own song and be like, okay, this is close. Like, you know, I'm not planning to be, or I don't expect myself to be as good as these other artists, but at least if it holds up, then I'm like, okay, it can probably get into a playlist on SubmitHub. That is my last big point. Just make undeniable music that you truly feel and can frankly say and be honest with yourself that this sounds good enough to be in the playlist or a playlist that you like, or playlists here on SubmitHub. So yeah, just to wrap it up, I hope that the few things that I've outlined can really improve your acceptance rates right now or for the music that you release in the future. And if you don't think your music is good enough, then you can work towards getting there. And it can save your money now and save your ego, save your little heart for when some of the curators, they come really harsh at you and they say all sorts of rude things and then you want to quit music. Just spare yourself that pain if you are not ready for that, and focus on getting the music right. Spend that extra money you have that you're going to spend on promo, spend it on finding a great producer, a nice songwriter to work with, a really good mix engineer. Try and ask some friends, if you don't think your song is good enough, where it could be improved, and see if you can spend that extra money that you would have spent here on getting other people to help you in those ways. Finally, I hope that you found this video helpful and that you can take these few things away. We did just release another video talking about the most hyped promo strategy going around the internet, YouTube, Instagram at the moment. And we even created a free cheat sheet on how this hyped promo strategy works, which you can grab at the link below this video. That ties it up for today. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something. Thank you all for joining me here at 11 out of 10, and I will see you at the next one. Ciao.